Excited to be here with all of you as usual. Tuesday, 4/29, team building training. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Zoom. Welcome, everybody. David Rutz here, David Allen Capital. My pleasure to have you here. If this is your first Zoom room, even in life, hey, welcome to the Zoom world. If this is your first David Allen Capital Zoom, welcome. We are very excited about the growth we're going through as a company. So every time we do a meeting, there's usually brand new people on it. Most people watch this in YouTube live, but we come here live. I'm sorry, YouTube recording, but we come here live so you can ask questions. We make ourselves available to ask questions, not just share content, but instead to share content and have opportunity to welcome and answer questions from anybody. So today is the team building training pro tips. I'm going to get right into it with you, but if you're brand new with us, welcome. Glad to have you. And if you're not brand new, if you're coming back, or maybe you've been sitting on the sidelines and it's time to get in the game, hey, no guilt trip, just gut check, right? Let's get it back in the game then, no problem. Just hit a reset button and go again. That's totally okay. Um, and you try to learn and not make that same mistake again, right? Timing is everything, and sometimes timing wasn't right. So welcome back. Hopefully you're ready to get after it if you're coming back. Or if you're here and you're dedicated and you're drilling and going, then keep on drilling and going, right? But keeping in mind that we've got the best funding platform out there. A business can apply at 20 businesses by applying with one. They can apply 20 lenders by applying with one and have the convenience and not have credit scores pulled from all 20, right? And get the best offer from those 20. And our expert team goes to work talking with all those providers and delivers the best option for the client. And it's always affordable. They don't get an offer they can't afford. And it's always the best one available. So when you think about that, what our funding platform does and how our team follows up and does all the work and does that, that's just a convenience. Even if they don't take the offer, the convenience of finding the best available offer is spectacular. When you think about what we've built here over the last 10 years, it really is spectacular. And then what our offer in our business is to provide you with a way that you can follow proven steps. It's not easy. You got to do the steps. Planet Fitness has a lot of proven steps on how to get in shape, right? But it's not easy. You got to do the steps. But there's a system. And, intermittent fasting is a great way to get off to lose a lot of weight just by reducing the time window in which you eat. It's free. It's proven. It's 100% proven. It's not easy to do, but it's proven. So our system is proven to work. It's absolutely proven. Our funding is proven to deliver. We're proven to give you a free business. We're proven to give you training. We're proven to give you a website that works. We're proven to give you everything you need. We're proven to do presentations to help build a team if you want to. Today's Team Building Tuesday. So it's all proven, but you got to do the steps, right? But here we go. Here's the tips for the day. Here's 5 quick tips. All right. Number one, be a finder, not a fixer. That's what I titled this on YouTube. Be a finder, not a fixer. You don't need to be fixing people that aren't moving. You want to be finding people that want to move. A lot of times, a new agent will be excited to have someone and they'll give all their efforts. They'll invest all the effort they can into that new agent to help them win. But that new agent doesn't want to win. Just like the personal trainer at the gym can't make you show up to the gym and they can't make you work out. And if their heart really wants to help you get in shape and really, really wants it, they get what's called compassion fatigue because you have so much compassion for others, you want it more than they do. Right. So don't fall victim to that. It's very easy to do, especially if you're a servant, if you're a giver. Pastors go through compassion fatigue. People who are servant leaders go through compassion fatigue because you want it for people. You actually have more compassion for them. You have more empathy for them succeeding than they do themselves. So don't be a fixer, be a finder. Find people who want to do it. That's the first tip. Recruit using your vision, not your product. Okay, so what I mean by that is the vision of what this can become for them. When you're talking about our product, you're talking about an offer that business owners love, right? But our business opportunity product is a vision of what it can become. Just like our funding team talks about the desired outcome with the Monday, why they're getting the 50 grand, isn't $50,000. It's expansion. And what does that expansion look like to your business? If that expansion's done, what does that look like to increase sales? What does that look like for your community? What does that look like for your family, the profitability of your family? Does it buy you more time, more free time? What does it look like? Because does 50 grand pay for that new desired outcome? Yeah. So you talk about vision. Same thing with this. What does it look like if 2 years from now, 3 years from now, the same amount of time someone spends in college, they built a team and that team is productive and they got 5 or 6 local leaders, 5 or 6 local cities going, and each local leader is doing 20 or 30 fundings a week. And so now they've got just call it 100 fundings a week coming in. And they're making $100 override. They're making $10,000 a week just by having this. And if it took you 4 years, but you had a team doing that, what does that look like to you? Can that help you overcome, where's the scripts? Can that help you overcome what's the Agent Resource Center website address? I mean, those things are all little things. How I get into Planet Fitness with my little app or my card, or that's not about getting in shape. It's something you need to know how to get into the gym. But what's going to get you in shape is your vision for the future, that how you see yourself, and whether you want to be there for your grandkids, or you want to get off your medication, or you want to look good, or you want to feel good, or whatever it is. It's not the app that gets you in the gym. It's not the color of the machines. It's not the TV sets. Those things all make it more comfortable, but it's the vision that gets people to go to the gym. It's the vision that gets people to want to join this business. So lead with vision, not with the product of it's a home-based business, ABC. Lead with the desired outcome. What makes value higher, we've talked about this a lot, is the desired outcome times the likelihood of achievement. That's what makes the value higher. So the desired outcome, it's easy to talk about, but now the likelihood of achievement here versus a corporate job. If your desired outcome is to be able to travel the world, to make, half $1 million a year, to be able to give to charities, to be able to instill this, instill that, do this, do that, whatever your vision is, now, is that likely to happen in your current job? Whatever that desired outcome is, that goal life that you have designed, is it likely to happen in that job or another job? Is it likely to happen here? It's possible with DAC, yes. Now you go to the denominator, the time delay. How long does it take to make it happen? Well, again, corporate America, yeah, maybe you can get to a 6-figure income over 10 years, or maybe, today's, quarter million, half a million over 10, 20 years. You can get to quarter million, half a year here. So likelihood of achievement, possible. Time delay, we don't have time delay. And we've got systems. All you got to do is you got to run the steps, right? And you got to find finders, not fixers, right? Okay. Use the 3P framework. We talked about this yesterday in the leadership call. 3Ps: presentation, project, plan. You're doing presentations to identify projects to do a game plan with. The game plans are with people who want to be local leaders. They want to be team builders and build more. Of course, you're doing presentation to find agents and you help them get into the training and how to get funding clients, how to support clients, and all that. But this is the team building training. So we're looking for people that want to do the thing. So they either want to be an agent or they want to be a team building agent. Agent or team building agent. That's what you're trying to find out when they join. So the 3Ps framework is you do a presentation to select a project, someone who wants to be an agent and team builder, and you do a game plan with them. Okay. Because if they want to be a team building agent, they probably want to be a local leader too. Now, maybe they don't want to take the responsibilities of a local leader, but they're a great partner for a local leader. So I've told the story about one gentleman I can think of. He used to have a saying, "Bits, I just get the butts in the seats. You do the presentation, you do the game plans, you do the trainings. I don't want to do presentations. I don't want to do trainings. I don't want to do game plans, but I'll have more people here every week at the presentation than anyone else. And we'll eventually find 5 or 10 in my team that want to do the presentation. They want to do the training. They want to do the game plans. I'll just put the butts in the seats, Bits." And that's what his philosophy was. And it's still that way today. 30 years later, has been full-time in this industry and earned significant income and never had to get in front of the room except to cross the stage as promotions, right? So if you don't want to be a local leader, but you can still be a local generator of people who want to do the business, right? So first tip again was we're going to be finders, not fixers. We're going to look for finders. We're not going to be fixers. We're going to recruit with vision, not with product. We're going to use the 3P framework. Okay. And then number four is in business, we're doing this a lot at DAC right now. We're using KPIs, key performance indexes. We're measuring a lot, like what percentage of the people accept the opportunity, accept the offer we give them. We want that to be over 80%. If it's under 80, what's causing that? Or the amount of people who apply, we want over 80% to get approved. If it's under for some reason, we want to know why. Of the applications, how many stall in the middle of the application? Why? What's causing that stall? Right? The number of people get funding, how many are getting renewal? How do we increase that? Right? So all these things we're measuring. The number of new agents who start, how many of them got a new funding application in their first month? How do we raise that number? If you measure it, you can train to it, right? You iterate and you train, you change your plans to improve your outcome. If you're not measuring, you don't have any plans to change. You don't have any outcomes to measure against. Like I know our apps per new agent is not where I want it to be. So I wouldn't know that if I wasn't measuring it. Now that we're measuring it, I can say, okay, our goal is this. So what do we got to do to increase the new applications per new agent? Right? How do we increase that? And we know warm market is the most successful at getting an application. So maybe we need to talk more and more and more with new agents how important it is to talk to warm market. That's one thing we can do. Now let's start doing that and let's measure. Oh, look, we got a bump. Okay, so now we're finding that the quality of packages in warm market's better too. So warm market gets more for new agents. It gets better quality packages. It gets better approvals, and almost all of them accept the funding when it's given. So we start seeing all these things that all we have to do is get people talking to warm market to start. And then we found the people who got warm market clients, guess what? Our hunches, they're the ones who stay active and get cold market clients. So we start measuring that. Absolutely, the hunch is correct. And so now we start to recognize, wow, the value of measuring how many warm market contacts happen with a new agent is critical to our success. It's critical to your success. If you have 10 new agents and none of them talk to their warm market, your business is on a trajectory of they're not even showing up to the gym. They bought Planet Fitness memberships and they're not showing up to the gym. Now, maybe they're working out at home. Maybe they're, running the streets, jogging on the street at home, and they got a membership they're just not using. Maybe they're all getting in shape. They may be, but they're using a non-traditional method. They joined the system called Planet Fitness, right? So they joined DAC, followed the DAC way. So the KPIs that we're measuring, you can't measure when you're brand new. The ones you can measure and your team can measure brand new is activity. That's the only thing you can measure is activity. So you should have a KPIs, key performance index, the amount of activity. You need to track your activity. That's why our game plan has your daily commitment of activity. So how many conversations you having? How many turn into invites to a presentation? Okay. And how many of those invites into a presentation turned into a yes, I'm joining the business? So what if you had 10 people you approach who said, yeah, I'll go to the presentation. None of them show up to the presentation. Well, that should tell you something you're saying. Just like if we get 100 people get approval, none of them take the money, something we're saying on the front end is wrong because they're getting approved and not accepting the money. Either they thought they were going to get a lot more, or they thought the pricing was going to be real low, they thought the term was going to be a lot longer. Something made them say no. Right. So we got to improve the training on the front end to tell them how much they might get approved for, how much it might cost, how long the term is. We got to make sure they understand that before we go to work for hours finding them an offer, only to have them say, no, I wanted $1 million and they're approved for 60,000. Right. So we got to approve the front end. Well, guess what? If you can only measure your conversations and your invites and then the people who show up, how many join. So this is what I'd say. If you're not getting 7 out of 10 to join the business who watch the presentation, you want to modify what you're saying to get them to the presentation. Okay. They should just like if you're not getting 80% of the people to accept the funding who get offered, you want to modify what you're saying before they get there because they're being misled. They're not being fully told. Right. So if you haven't told people, as an example, that we do business funding and we're looking for agents who want to help businesses with business funding, there's no reason for them to come to the presentation. If they come to the presentation and they know that and they still say no, okay, well, then something about our product or something about something said, yeah, it's not for me. I checked it out. I get it. And as I think about it, it's just not for me. But thank you. But it's not because it was business funding, right? They knew that when they got there. So the pre-qualification helps. So number of conversations, number of invites, and number of yeses to the who showed up to the presentation. So conversations, invites to the presentation. So how many become invites to the presentation? How many of them show up to the presentation? How many join? Those are the four things you can measure. Conversations, how many turned into a yes, I want to see more, how many showed up to see more, and how many joined. Measure those three things, plan, do, measure, adjust, and improve. So start with what we teach on what to say, start there. And if you go, I want to change that up. I was taught, as I said yesterday, I was always taught to use the information or use the opinion script. I didn't like it day one. I've never used it. It's lying, if you ask me. But I was taught in my first presentation when I was 22 years old, just ask people's opinion. Don't tell them what it is. Just say, hey, I was just calling to get your opinion for something. I respect you. I'd like to get your opinion about a business I'm checking out. And I'm like, but that's not true. Do you want their opinion to see if they're interested? Okay, if I say I want to get your opinion because I want you to join as a rep and I want to get your opinion if you want to join as a rep, fine, but you're not telling me to say that. You're saying I respect your opinion. I'd like to get your opinion, hoping that they'll go, oh, I like it. You should do it. And maybe I want to do it too. It's complete BS. So I would say I'm never going to use that script. So if we're saying something in our script, you go, I could never say that. I could never say, hey, we're looking for local leaders because I don't want a local leader. I don't want to be a local leader. I'm just looking for people that want to go get clients. Okay. I'm looking for business funding agents. Okay. Just say that then. But if you take our scripts, they're proven to work. And if you use them, if you modify from that, modify, but measure the results. If you're not getting most of them go, yeah, I want to see the presentation and showing up, you're saying something that's turning people off. Either you're saying something that's really easy to say yes to, but they're really not interested. They just want to get you off the phone. Say, yeah, I'm interested. Yeah. And they're not going to show up to the presentation. Or you didn't promote the presentation well enough to create some urgency for them to show. You didn't influence them in how you talk to them, so they didn't show. So you either didn't present it the right way, but with being truthful and sorting right up front. You'd rather they say no to the initial conversation. Not interested in being a business funding agent. No problem. We're looking for people who are serious about helping businesses get funding, want to make some serious money. We're leading with business funding. We're helping when the banks can't. We need some agents to help lead this local market. Do you want to help your local community? Not interested in that. If they say, yeah, man, that sounds good, they're going to show to the presentation. And they're not going to say no after the presentation because you've already laid out the whole business in one sentence. Right? So if they're saying, yeah, and they don't show, what are you saying that's getting them to say yes to it, but yet not be excited to go see it? Right? Are you just putting a one line out? We just want to know if you want to check it out, tell us what you think. No, I'm not looking for you to check it out to tell me what you think. I'm not. I'm looking for agents who want to be a serious agent to help in the local market. Be truthful. Tell them what you're looking for. Let them say, that's not for me up front. That way you don't have to chase them. Why didn't you show to the meeting? Why didn't you show up to the meeting? Are you going to be at the meeting? Are you plan? Just be transparently honest. Folks, this is not a hard business to do. When you do that, you'll get referrals. Yesterday, I had a conversation like that with a gentleman, and I said flat out, I'm looking for people that want to help lead other individuals. That's what I'm looking for. If you can't do that because of time, I understand. I know you're very busy, but you lead all the time. So you can help lead people to me. I can take care of them. Are you open? Yeah, keep following up with me. It's not the right time, but within an hour, he sent me a client. He likes what we stand for. I didn't tell him to send me a client. He just did. Because he likes what we stand for, because we're transparently business owners. We're transparently in front of what we're doing. So be proud of what you got your hands on. You're going to lead. You're helping to lead the world's largest funding company. We're not there yet. We will be. We're the only ones on a mission to build an army like this. There's others do it out there that are really in the business of trying to sell you a business to get your money now, and they're a short term. We got a model that says this: we will have 100,000 10,000 agents one day, and we will have 10,000 full-time, and then we'll have 20,000 full-time, and then 50,000 full-time, because there's millions of businesses who need funding. And there's not even 100,000 full-timers in this industry. The real estate market, as you know, 4.6 million homes sold last year, 3 million licensed agents. 3 million licensed agents, 4.6 million. There's 9 million businesses who need funding, and there's not even 100,000 agents. The market is wide open for you to dominate. You could literally, if you remember Century 21 or EXP or Real Estate One, they're everywhere. Not when they first started. You couldn't find the Century 21 anywhere when they first started. You couldn't find an EXP anywhere 15 years ago. They didn't exist. Now there's EXP everywhere, world's largest. You couldn't find Keller Williams anywhere 25 years ago. Now there's more Keller Williams than Century 21. Better model. Folks, what we're doing is going to be copied. It's going to be copied. So do you want to be the leader and lead it out and have a massive organization so when someone tries to copy us, they can't? Hey, Warren Buffett, I got 2 more tips here. I'm going to go through the tips and I'll close. So the KPIs, you're going to measure the conversations, how many say yes to the presentation, how many show up to the presentation, how many join, measure that. Production will come after the activity. Activity and activity comes after your activity, right? So you got to do this. Lead from the front is the 5th tip. So your personal recruiting and your customer activity, it's going to inspire more than any other talking we'll ever do. I'm in the top 10 again for recruiting. I was last month. I'm in the top. I think I've got more clients than anyone else in the company. I haven't checked it in a while. And I think Wade's got more funding than anyone else. He's gotten bigger fundings. And I think I have more quantity than anyone else. But you look at someone like Nick DeHame, he's in the top customer getters. Matt DeHame in the top customer getters, right? For most clients, right? Lead from the front of the room. Lead from the front of the room. Don't lead just from a voice box. Be productive. Be the most active. And then a one-liner. You don't need everyone. You just need the right ones. Okay. So what I was going to talk about, Warren Buffett said, if ever you're going to invest in a business, he said, I want to invest in a business that has a big moat around it. I don't know if you remember when you were a kid, the castle and the bridge, the drawbridge would come down over the river. The river around the castle was the moat. And the moat was always designed as a protection for the castle because you couldn't then get into the castle unless the gate was down. If you put the gate up, how are you going to get to the castle? A big castle wall with a big river around it, or a moat, it's called. So Warren Buffett would say, I want to invest in a business that has a big moat because I know it's got a competitive advantage. And it's very hard for a business to duplicate that. And if I don't think it's got a moat, I don't want to invest in it because anyone else can beat it. What we're doing right now, guys, is we're creating a bigger moat. Do you recognize that? It costs DAC almost $800,000 a year to operate our business. Do you know what it takes for a business to offer a free business doing what we're doing? Do you know what it takes to offer the systems we've built? You know what we've spent? You know how much money we've developed? Let me tell you this. I've not taken out one penny in profit. 100% we reinvest into the business. It's all reinvested into the business. So this business, to duplicate what we're doing, for a lender to do this or someone to duplicate our business, free, all the systems we have, the platform we have, the trainings we have, the LMS we have, the replicated websites we have, the documentation we have, the proof we have, the relationships we have with all the lenders. You know, we have lenders who want to partner with us just to have access to some of the lenders we have because they can't get access themselves and they want to run some of their traffic that they don't want to approve to those other lenders. They want to basically do similar to what Bank Breezy is doing. You know, we have lenders who want to do that with us because of our relationships. You know how hard it is to get an agreement with that company right there? On Deck Lending, you know how hard it is to get an agreement with them? They send us a bottle, say you're a premier partner, because we have proven us. You know how hard that is? You can't get that. You can't get that agreement. And so when you look at what someone would have to do to replicate our business, the reason we have our Giggle partnership, I know it's not a big part of our business, but because the guy who started Giggle was one of their executives at On Deck, and he worked with us in the past. He's got 4 partners right now who send them traffic. That's it. And they're all massive companies and DAC. You can't go work with Giggle. You can't go get an agreement with Giggle. They don't do that. They're not interested. So what you've got your hands on to replicate this process, this is valuable. This is such a high value business now. So it's got a moat around it. We don't have to worry about competition duplicating us anytime soon. But how do we make the moat bigger? Guys, you need to be doing 1 million in funding a month, and then 2 million a month, and 3 million a month. Set a goal. Get to 1 million in funding in your team a month, and then two, and then three, and then four, and then five, and then six. And why not? You have a goal to have 1% of the market of funding in your team and be doing 3 billion in funding a year in your team. Why not? Why should, there's a company called Primerica. Primerica, when it first started, it's called A.L. Williams at the time. When it first started, they were just 30 or 40 people selling life insurance. And Prudential was out there and Transamerica Life and all these other companies. But little Art Williams, he had a goal. He said, I want to help you have your own business. And we're not going to be beholden and sell that trash life insurance. We're going to sell term and invest the difference. And he had this whole mission, just like what we're saying. We're not going to make money on you when you get started. We're not in the business to sell you a business. We're in the business to help fuel your business, and we'll make a percentage of your profit. If we're not good at it, we don't make any money. Right. So, but we believe we can help you make a lot of money. So we had this little vision, and he had this little vision. And all he did was over time, he started getting more and more customers. And over time, his model was better than the salary life insurance agent model because they couldn't build a team. There's no business funding comes out of you can build a team like ours. You go work with OnDeck Direct, you can't build a team. If you work as a salaried person with OnDeck, you make a percentage of, I'm sure they pay commissions and stuff. You can't build a team there. You can't turn in business. And why did that executive leave to start Giggle? Because you can't build your own business as an employee. You guys are building your own business here, and you don't have to run all of it. You're like a franchise in McDonald's. You've got the locations that you get to build out. And you don't have to worry about who's buying the napkins or what sauces we're putting on the French fries. You don't have to worry about any of that. All you got to worry about is duplicating the locations, duplicating the training, and finding the right people. That's it. Now, that's not easy to do, but it's a lot easier than having to do that and build the product and build the platforms and build all that other stuff. So you've got your hands on something that's spectacular. And I know it because I'm an agent too. I'm an agent just like you are. And my agreement is I'm going to get paid in the pay plan because yesterday I made almost, well, I don't forget what it was. Morgan sent the commission checks out. I don't look at them anymore. But I think yesterday was $800 in overrides. And the day before that was, last week, I don't look at it I don't even look at the commission email every day. I get one every day. I don't look at it. I know one the other day I looked at the override was over 2,200 in overrides. I'm like, woohoo, yeah, I gotta love it. So you guys I can't make that as a salary. If I take a salary, I can't justify taking 600 grand from a business or 300 grand, but I can if it's commission. Can't you? Yeah, so that's the why I've built myself this way. Hopefully, you look at Donald Trump, love him or hate him, he doesn't take a salary. He's not taking any money. He's trying to help the country. You can love him or hate him. He's saying, hey, you're not going to turn me into a 100 millionaire because I'm a politician. I may lose value by being a politician, but I'm not going to go down that path. But the point is, hopefully the fact that I say I'm in the pay plan, just like you, I tell all our employees, the best way you can get a raise is be in the pay plan and grow your business. Help the business is growing the business. Grow your own personal business. Wade Cordell and I talk about it. Wade does not make a lot at Bridgepoint, which owns Bank Breeze, which owns the platform. Bank Breezy is a brand of DAC, but Wade and I are partners in a company that supports the platform, right? He doesn't make a big salary. He's making money in the DAC pay plan. He makes a little bit there, but it's not enough for him to go, yeah, I got a great life. It's like, I got to perform. We're a performance-based company. Right. And he loves it that way. And I love it that way. And many of you are in his team and he's supporting you and helping you. Right. So we're all in this together, team. We're all in this together, but don't think for a moment we don't have the drive to build the world's largest. The world's largest. I'm not looking to take this public to have an escape route for ruts and get rich. I'm looking to build a moat around this business, around yours. So A.L. Williams, over time, their business grew, and then individuals in A.L. Williams had bigger groups than Prudential. There were individual people in A.L. Williams, RVPs, just like we have an RVP rank. You can get to RVP. RVP performance was bigger than Prudential. They had top 5 or 6 agents in A.L. Williams were bigger than Prudential, bigger than Transamerica Life. right? So there's no reason to think you can't become larger than on deck. There's no reason to that 300 billion that you can't get 30 of it in your team. Why would you think some other goofballs at a corporate office can do 30 billion, but you can't? They're just guys and girls like you. They don't have an opportunity like we have. They don't have the ability to inspire growth of a team. So folks, this is called vision. Some believe it, some don't. If you believe it and run and you fulfill it. If you don't believe it, you don't run, you don't fulfill it. I understand that a lot of people won't believe the vision, but when we say our first goal is 1%, 3 billion, that's our first goal. Then it becomes okay, now let's have people in our organization have 1%. Let's say you, one of the organizations. Why am I still recruiting? Because I need to diversify just like you. I'll end with this. I've built big groups before and had a leg dry up. Either the leader passes away or the leader starts a business doing something else, right? Or the leader just retires and the team slowly dwindles, or something nefarious happens where the leader, starts a new competitive company, um, and tries to take people with them. Actually, I've never had that one, but it does happen in our industry. So there's things that happen, and so I've had organizations where I've built only to have something go in that leg. So I'm going wide. I'm going wide. This foundation, each one of these is a pylon down to bedrock, and each one of these pylon down to bedrock. That's 10 pylons. It's not going to be built on two legs where if one drives up, oh no, no, no. And hopefully you building pylons to go to the bedrock too. You're looking for finders. You're looking for local leaders. You're looking for people to say, I like that. This guy wants to do 1 billion in sales and fundings a year. This girl wants to do 1 billion. This girl believes in 500 million. We got to get her belief up. This guy believes in 100 million. We got to get his belief up. This guy believes he can do 30 billion himself and 10% of the industry. Rock on, buddy. This girl says, yeah, you think you're good. I think I can do 40 billion. I'm going to get there before you. Hey, this is what visionaries do. They believe and then they fulfill. They put a dent in the world. They put a dent in the world. All right. So we've got a moat around our business. It's going to grow. Come build a moat around your own. Build a big, and imagine we have equity set aside for people like you. You build a certain rank, you have a certain revenue. We're giving you partnership in the company. We don't lead with it. We don't lead with it because if that's what it has to take to get you in, it's probably not the right fit. You got to believe in the product first. But it's in our comp plan videos. We don't put it on our presentation, right? Other people lead with that because you got to create so much value on the upside to sell the price, to sell the cost of admission. We don't have a cost of admission. So we'd rather downplay it and say, do you want to run? Okay, let's find out who loves running. If you love running, watch what we're going to do when you run. We don't need to talk you into loving running first. Let's find out if you love running. Let's find out if you love being an agent before we talk about the big dollars and all that. We've got it. But are you interested? Beautiful. Now you help build it. Yeah, you can become an equity partner in the company. You can become an equity partner in the company. Isn't that pretty cool? All right. Any questions as well? We're here live. I've gone 35 minutes longer than usual. Get a little excited. Tonight's game night. 7:30 tonight. I'm doing the presentation. Tuesday and Thursday, McGuire and Nick knocked it out of the park last week. And anyone you get on tonight, believe me, I'm going to be having them bringing people with them Thursday. And we've got a question. It looks like a hand up from Natafia. Go ahead, Natafia.
Yes. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me.
Loud and clear, yeah.
Okay. So my question was, which I probably should know where this is at, but I'm all over the place,
That's all right.
where the scripts was at. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of still like, okay, where do I go? Where do I start? And with the warm market, I feel like there's not a lot of business people that I know as far as, personal friends and family. So I
Mhm.
feel like I'm gonna have to go out there and I'm definitely nervous about that, but starting with the script and stuff.
Sure, sure. Are you talking about for getting customers or recruiting?
Recruiting I want to do, but I figured I could probably try to do that online, right?
Well, I would still suggest warm market. Um, but so your question though is centered around funding clients. Is that what you,
Yes.
okay.
That's what it started from.
So what I would say, first of all, is the easiest way to know whether you have a warm market for funding is start with your phone and go
Yes.
through your phone, your contacts, business owner, business owner, business owner, business owner, write them down. Most people feel they don't have many, they have a lot more than they know.
Mhm.
Then go to the next set of lists is canvassing as a customer, meaning where would you go to? Who's your dentist? Who's your doctor? Who repairs your car? Who's so it's all the people you do business with is the next
Okay.
list. So you want to write those down. That'll have you covered for a while. And then canvas as a customer to anyone else you didn't think of. Meaning, if you go to get dinner, you're walking into a restaurant, it's an opportunity to introduce yourself to the owner. Okay. So
Mhm.
you want to build that and network to grow that list. So it's warm market is people in your phone first, then canvassing as a customer. So make a list of all the places you do business, right? Even if you got to use our memory jogger, we have a memory jogger in the Saturday training that's got, and it may be in the under team building resources too. I think it is
I did
under.
come across it. I saw that.
Okay, cool. So that'll give you, who's your accountant, who's your CPA, blah, 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 and you'll get another 30 or 40 businesses to reach out to there, probably 100 actually. So warm market canvases a customer, and then you go social, put it all on your social pages everywhere, because that'll get you some leads. And then it gives you also a reason to follow up with people. Hey, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but I'm now in business funding. It's a good reason to follow up with a business owner, who's in your friend group. And then you go, the fourth step after warm market is local market. So local territory is, your community. Most people live in a community, have a stoplight nearby with an intersection.
Mhm.
And so you want to go canvass that intersection. You want to make sure you've met and have a list of, okay, at Joey's Crossings or Crossroads Village, there's 17 businesses in there. I'm going to make sure I know the owner of all 17. And you go in, hey, I'm just here introducing myself. I live local. I'm in business funding. I don't know all the business owners in this complex. So I just wanted to introduce myself because I'm in business funding. In case you ever need funding, that's what we do. So I just want to introduce myself, give you my card, and find out a little bit more about your business. So you're just networking. That's canvassing a local area. So you have warm market, okay, and then canvas as a customer, then local market. And then after local market, which you never run out of unless you live in a rural town, then you go to what we call your like market. Like market is a market you feel like you relate real well with. If you love gardening, maybe you go to gardening, landscapers and gardening companies. If
Okay.
you love martial arts, maybe you're going to be the martial arts funding person of the world, and you're going to go get a website, martialartsfunding.com, whatever, and you're going to become that, and you're going to reach out to a bunch. So that's what I'd say. As far as where the scripts are, they're in the business funding training. If you watch near the end, they're all listed there, and they're also in our business funding section of our website under funding. It's in the Agent Resource Center.
Okay.
All right. And
Yes.
every Wednesday we do pro tips. And so that's always got new stuff too. And if you go to our YouTube channel, dacyoutube.com, we have playlists. And each playlist is separated, whether it's business funding, payment processing, team building, et cetera. And you can
Okay.
watch some nuggets there or just put them on play as you're walking somewhere and, just podcast style. It's podcast style, not training style.
All right.
All right. Just like
Yeah.
today.
Yes. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Yes.
you. How long you been with us, by the way?
I think I signed up last week.
All right. So just over a week. That's awesome. Well, welcome aboard. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for asking the question and come back and ask anytime you need. Who
Okay.
was it that enrolled you?
Well, I found it on the internet, so I didn't know anybody personally. I think that the person's name is, well, I haven't ever spoken to the person.
Okay. Well, that
I don't
that
even know
right
if
there.
she's involved. I know it's Katina, the broker, it said.
Okay. Yeah, Katina Willis. So Katina made some videos, right? You saw a video?
Yes, I seen that.
Yeah, so Katina made that video a while ago. If you look at the date of that,
Yeah, I know, right?
it's a long time ago. It just shows when you create social stuff, it works. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would say that you want to when you're recruiting, you could do that, but we say if you do that, then others will do that. And you're not feeling very much led, right? You're not feeling like someone's been holding your hand, doing onboard training, doing a game plan with you. So our
No,
system, Katina's not working because Katina's off doing other
other
things.
things,
She
yes.
made videos. We haven't shut her off, but she's not actively engaging with the new agents like you. So
Right.
I would
That's
just
okay. Because I'm, I'm just,
you're a self-starter. Yeah, she's a
yeah,
good girl. She's doing her thing. And we're like, hey, she brings a lot of clients every month, promote
yeah.
videos, and she's not lazy. She's a hardworking businesswoman doing very
She's
well.
doing something else, like you
Yeah,
said.
she's doing other things. So I don't blame her, and we're not going to tell her to shut off her page. But I would tell you if you're building a team, look at our team building trainings
Yeah.
and see what we're talking about doing, the last couple of weeks. If you go to our YouTube page, dacyoutube.com,
Mhm.
and you look at under the playlist of team building trainings, we've given a lot of little tips on what to do with a new agent. We had a checklist of what to do with every brand new agent. So you'll want to go through that because that's not been done with you.
Right. And I
Right?
always want to do what I know I'm not getting. I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to give that to other someone. I want to
Yeah.
help them plug and play because I know if I help them, it helps me as well. So
Well, it goes to God's math is multiplication, not addition.
yeah.
And you've been added to the business, but you're not going to multiply unless you know what to do. And if
Yes.
you recruit me and you don't help me go through steps, I'm not going to multiply. And
Yeah.
by happenstance only. But if you do the right thing with me, like you're saying, then I will multiply and turn into more. So welcome aboard. But I would go check out the
I
YouTube
definitely will.
page, the team building tools, and look at that checklist of what
Okay.
to do with new agents. And the
All
good
right.
news is, you've probably heard about our LMS, a learning management software starting here, or system, I should say. It's going to be going live in the next few weeks. I'm hoping, we're in the final
My
stage.
sister did sign up under me.
Oh,
So
good. Well, well
they
done.
signed up a couple of days ago. So yeah.
Congrats. Well, then you definitely both want to go through the checklist together.
Yes.
But the LMS is going to require people are trained as if they're all enrolled the right way. There'll
Mhm.
be little trainings to watch, quizzes to take, and
Okay.
it's just going to be inspiring. People are going to be excited to be certified, and
Okay.
it'll increase the professionalism. But glad to have you.
All right.
I
Thank you.
pronounce your name
Glad
right,
to
by
be
the
here.
way. Is it
Oh,
Natafia?
yes. Natafia. Yes.
Okay,
All right.
beautiful.
Okay.
Well, nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you. Welcome aboard.
Likewise.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from anybody? Okay, then the 5 tips again: focus on finders, not be a fixer, recruit with vision, not just the product, the vision of where they can take this, the desired outcome. Remember the 3 Ps framework. You do presentations to select projects to do game plans with, right? And then those people move forward. Um, Activity is the only KPI you can measure when you first start. Conversations you're having, and we're talking about recruiting right now. You can do the same thing with funding. Conversations you're having, how many wanted to see the presentation, how many showed up to the presentation, how many said yes and joined. Those 4 things you can measure because you can control that today. You can change that number today, all 4 of those. You can do the same thing with funding, but this is a recruiting discussion. And then lead from the front of the room through your activity, not just from conversations. If you want a team of recruiters, recruit. If you want a team of customer getters, get customers. And then remember, you don't need everyone, you just need the right ones.